Hey Raiders family, it's Bourkeys here and welcome back after a 2-week hiatus to this week's round 15 preview against the Eels. It's been a tough 2 weeks. I don't know about being physically drained, but mentally I think us Raiders fans do get extremely drained. So whilst I never like to miss a week of Raiders football, it's sometimes good just to find your peace and find your equilibrium and get back into it this week with a big game against Para. And I need to be up front and thank Parramatta right away for not having this game at Bankwest Stadium. They're undefeated there since it opened in April. So it's probably 6 to 10 points them not playing there, which is the plus side for us. I think had Darwin announced they're opening a new stadium this week, it may have helped Para psychologically, but that's not to be. And I think this is a real bonus by not playing at Bankwest. There's a few things we need to tweak to get the chocolates, which I'll cover in my top 10. But it's a real bonus being away from Bankwest, to be honest with you. Good to get away with the boys in one group and get out and get some sunshine and refresh even more. So we've had a really long turnaround Thursday fortnight ago. So we had 2 weeks and 2 days basically break, which is fantastic. So guys, let's get into it. First of all, top 10, the Eels, as always, first and foremost. The back three for the Eels are going to be pivotal. Gutherson, Ferguson and Sivo are basically the real key and the heartbeat to getting them on the front foot. I'll cover how we're going to stop that in our part of the top 10, but that's their main strength. They really need those three to get a really solid platform. Parramatta in the games I've watched this year, they really rely on those three getting them at least to the 40-metre line or the halfway from kick returns. If they get that type of field position, Parramatta are a very, very dangerous side with the back end of their sets of six. So we've really got to be on our mettle, which I'll cover later on, to make sure we nullify these three quickly. They're big bodies, particularly Ferguson and Sivo, and Gutherson's very dangerous around that dummy half if either of those two wingers get a quick play of the ball. So that's their strength without a doubt. So that's where we've really got to be on our mettle and on it quickly and on it early. So number 2, I've gone for Mitch Moses. If those three get that field position, Moses can be dangerous. I think he lacks confidence if we put pressure on him early. If we take away his game management, he's going to be their main kicker. Similar to Michael Morgan at the Cowboys, Moses is their main kicker, so we've really got to be up in his face with every kick. If we can get some errors from him early, he will fade out of the game. He'll lack confidence and he'll start looking to blame other players for mistakes, as well as he'll try and feed it a lot earlier than he usually does when he likes to run the ball once his confidence is up. So we've really got to be hammering him from the inside markers across and take away his time to get the ball to his outside edge runners. Once again, if we can throw a lot of our runners at him, whether it's Tarpany, Bateman, Whitehead, those types of fringe edges when they come on, Sia and the like, it's really going to drain him, particularly in Darwin. So we've got to be mindful of the fact this game's in Darwin. It's going to be a lot hotter. Ball's going to be a lot slipperier. So we've just got to make sure with Moses particularly, we try and run at him and give him as much sapping energy defence as possible early. Number 3, I've gone for the edges for Parramatta. They do play a lot if they get that field position inside an opposition's half by the second or third tackle. Usually the second tackle, they really try and like to hit the edges on the next 4 or the next set of 3 tackles. So particularly Sean Lane, Manu Ma'u, Nathan Brown, those types of guys off the bench, Terapo and Gower really love to hit the edges. So we've got to be really mindful of that fact that they're going to play very straight. They're going to play down corridors. They're not going to drift across a great deal. If they do drift across, like Moses particularly has a 45-degree angle, he'll bring Sean Lane or someone on the inside of him trying to win that ruck for a quick play of the ball. So we've really got to be on our mettle watching that and once again get up quickly to take their time management from them. Number 4, I've gone for Junior. Big game last week for Samoa. This week, I'm expecting similar. Now, what I've noticed with him and Parramatta, in his 2 stints, the first stint he'll play more middle, direct, trying to bring a lot of our edge defenders in with tackles. He goes off for a breather. When he comes back on, I'm usually finding he's playing more edge type of role, where he's getting the ball first or second off dummy half, then trying to bust our edges with a second man play behind to Gutherson or someone of that nature, or trying to break the edges himself. So once again, we've got to be mindful of his ball playing ability in the second stint, particularly. Close to the line in the first stint, he's going to go a lot himself. The hooker, Reid Mahoney, will try and drop him underneath with an inside ball out of dummy half, bring him on the inside. So we've got to make sure that our defence gets up quickly, because we can't let Junior get ahead of steam up, obviously, because of his size. He's very hard to contain. We don't need to panic in defence by having 3 or 4 in on the tackle. We need to have confidence that 1 or 2 can do the job, but we've really got to make sure that we block off the offload. Once again, in the Darwin heat, we can't be doing 3 or 4 extra sets of 6 tackles with offloads or 7 set repeat sets. It'll just drain us too much. So Paulo is the main leader in their pack. We need to give him the respect that he deserves, but by the same token, we need to make sure that his offload ability and when he comes on as an edge is nullified. So let's go to our top 10, or our top 6, might I add. So number 5, I've gone the kicking game. Now I want to hark back to the Parramatta back 3. We can't afford to be in our kicking game giving them balls on the full. We have to dribble them into the ground like we did the last round. We can't be kicking them on the full, giving them that momentum up to get back to the 40 or 50 metre line. So particularly Aiden and Jack's left foot kicks need to be those dinky type where the ball goes all over the place and Ferguson and Sevo have to basically stand still, pick it up and then take off. If we're going to do a midfield bomb, once again we have to bomb to the corners of Sevo and Ferguson. These guys are confidence players. If we bomb to Gutherson 30 metres out, he's just going to run it straight back, get the yards. Then we've got Ferguson next run off the ruck, and then Sevo usually the ruck after. They're going to be easily inside our half. So we need to make sure at all possible, our kicks have to hit the ground to slow up their momentum. It's most critical. Number 6, I've gone for Aiden and Jack. I'm looking forward once again to these 2 gelling. Aiden's had another couple of weeks off just to rest his body since Cronulla. Jack's had, a week off, so it's been a really nice refresh from him going directly from Perth to Darwin without the long haul back from Perth to Canberra, then from Canberra to Darwin. It would have sucked a lot from him. So I think Aiden and Jack once again really have to lead us around the park like they did against the Sharks. I really want to see Aiden running the ball a lot more. I think with some of these big Eels forwards, Aiden should be in his element by doing a lot more running to the line and really trying to make these Parramatta players effort tackles and not dropping off, waiting for Aiden to hit the man either left or right. So Aiden needs to be doing a lot more running and then trying to find his support play, other than trying to find his support play straight away. So he needs to get into the line. Don't need to worry about Jack running. He'll run all night if he has to. But I just think the confidence from last Sunday, once again, will be enormous from the confidence he got in the first Origin game. I think he'll go to another level over the next 5-6 weeks for us with just the little things he would have brought back from Origin camp: preparation, confidence, communication. Those types of things just flow through a side, particularly with Jack being in Origin. Number 7, I've gone for Hodjo. Guys, we just got to be tempered with Hodjo. As long as he's playing the team game, systems and processes and getting us up the field or to certain field positions, I think that's all we can expect from him tomorrow night. He's been out for 4 weeks, a game in Darwin, so it is going to have a little bit of effect on his match fitness, let's be honest. It's going to be 24, 25 degrees at kickoff. So we just need to temper our expectation of Josh first game back after 4 weeks. As I said, as long as he can get us to certain positions of the field, he can hit his straight runners and have a solid kicking game out of dummy half. Parramatta will be trying to look for Aiden and Jack with quick up and in to try and thwart their left foot kick. So Hodjo's kicking out of dummy half, I think, will be really critical to give us some good field position and turn those wingers around to chase the ball back into the corners. So let's sit on the fence with Hodjo. I just wanted to get through the game, find his legs, and just create some second mind in the Parramatta defence inside their quarter. The bench to me at number 8 tomorrow night is really, really important. It's one of our strongest benches for a while. Havili, Horsburgh, Sutton and Sia. That's a really solid, hardcore, hard-nosed bench. I think our bench far outweighs Parramatta's bench with enthusiasm, experience, Havili's come back from his Tongan game. He's going to be fairly pumped, even though they lost. Corey's first game back after 4 weeks. Sia, our Mr. Spiritual Leader, and Ryan Sutton with a nice couple of weeks off to rest his body. He's been copying it a fair bit in and around the middle, so it's a really good chance for him just to rest up the last couple of weeks, and I expect him to play a real pivotal role with his hard, gritty runs on those edges, as well as his ball playing out the back. But it's a really, really solid bench, which I think gives us at least a 6 to 10 point differential with what they can bring when they come on. Number 9, I've gone for Jordan Rapana. He's been a little bit soft, or not soft, that's a bit unfair, David. He's been a little bit conservative is the word, probably the last 3 or 4 weeks since he's been back. But I think with the fortnight off he's had, I expect him to be very robust out of dummy half tomorrow night. He hasn't had those real impactful runs that we need from our back three since he's been back. He's been taking it up, but it's just been lacking a little bit of confidence or flair or pizzazz on getting a lot more yardage than what he has been. So I'm expecting him to be back nearly to his peak tomorrow night, which augurs well for the likes of CNK and Bailey Simonson to also just feed off what Jordan can bring, bringing that ball back from those corners. But I'm expecting Jordan to be back to nearly full strength tomorrow night. Finally, I've gone for errors will kill us. Now, Darwin, a night game in mid-20 heat. So we haven't had that since the start of the year. So if we give up errors and stupid errors inside our half, we're going to be caught with our pants down. So we just got to be really, really mindful of securing the ball, getting to our kicks, all those 1%ers. I don't care if we're making errors on the Parramatta line or the Parramatta 10-metre line. They've got to then exert a lot of energy to run the ball 90 metres. But if we're gifting them errors inside our half, 40 metres, 30 metres out, it's going to be a long night. In these types of games, when it's hot and it's slippery, you can't afford to be doing 6 or 7 or 8 sets of 6 more than the opposition. You 9 times out of 10 invariably lose those types of games. Make no mistake, this is a danger game for us. Parramatta big win off the Broncos. They'll be confident. Once again, we had a big win against the Sharks. So they're going to be pretty pumped, Para. If we can take their confidence out of them early by just doing the 1%, as I just mentioned, and have no errors, I think our confidence and where we are and where they are on the table will really shine through. We are a 10 to 12 point better side than Parramatta, make no mistake about it, but we can't be sucked in by doing stupid things and the game's, 12-10 or 14-12 or 16-14 with 3 or 4 minutes to go. We don't need that type of game tomorrow night in Darwin. We need to get on top early and then just make sure that we consolidate a lead and just let Parramatta force the play. We can't be in a position of trying to force the play to win. We need to turn the screws on Para to force them into desperation plays or silly errors. So guys, that's it for the top 10 this week, the preview of the Parramatta game. I'm looking forward to this one big time in Darwin. 2 weeks since our last game. If we can get through this weekend, we've got another bye coming up. So it's the old cliche, the 4-week game into the Dragons and into the Tigers, and it really, really sets us up beautifully for the rest of the year. So guys, that's it for this week. As always, guys, bleed green, and this is Bourkeys out.